how do we create more trust and reliability instantly?
Yes. Okay. So here, let's talk about trust first, because it is chronological. We have to trust someone to rely on them. That's why starting with your competence doesn't always work. So trust. So the very first thing is a weird one. It's a really weird one that I'm going to talk about first.
So you don't have to be competent to be trusted.
To be charismatic, you have to be competent and trustworthy.
Okay.
Right? So we want that perfect balance.
Yeah,
right? You're trying to
smart enough and you're warm and likable.
Yeah, okay, so like let's look at this cover. So really, really successful book covers, just like really successful LinkedIn profile pictures, very quickly signal both trust and competence, right? They both signal both these at the same time. Okay, so let's talk about the first one, which is space zones. Okay, so sorry, I'll give it back to you. I took it away.
Space zones?
Space zone.
What is
We're going to talk about space. We're going to talk about the distance between people. So the distance between my nose and the camera lens. You can't see it, but in this photo shoot, I made sure that the distance between my space and the camera lens was a certain space.
How far?
So I wanted to be in what's called the social zone. Okay, so this is not made up by me. This is actually, research is based. There's 4 zones for people. The intimate zone, the personal zone, the social zone, the public zone. Remember that Seinfeld episode you ever saw of close talking?
Yes.
You ever had this where someone walks up like right into your face and like talks into your mouth? Okay, so that's called close talking. And that is the first big rule.
Intimate zone.
Intimate zone.
You don't want to be there.
You don't want to be there unless you're about to get intimate.
Or unless you like your friends or you know each other and you're like, that's
Louis,
what you do.
Do you talk 6 inches away from your friend?
Oh, that's too close. No, that's like your girlfriend. Yeah, your partner.
Right,
Got you. Okay.
Okay, so here's what happens.
This is intimate zone, 6 inches.
0 to 18 inches apart is
Okay,
intimate zone. Okay, so here's what happens. This is the biggest mistake I'm seeing right now, is we're all on video call all the time.
We're taking photos like
Yes.
this, selfie like
Yes.
What does that do when you're projecting a video or a photo of that close?
It is literally saying, I want to get close really, really fast. And so if you have someone who's super high warmth, they're like, yes, vulnerability, intimacy, and you're going to attract those kind of people. But if you have someone who's like, whoa, 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 take a minute, they are turned off. So what's happening is on video calls, you hop on FaceTime, you hop on video or on Zoom, and people are like right up in their camera. Right, their nose and their camera are 10 inches apart, and so someone's like, whoa.
It's too close,
It's too close.
Okay.
So that's the first one, is you want to respect the space zones. The sweet spot is 1.5 feet to 3 or 4 feet away. That's that social zone. That's where we're making eye contact. If I wanted to reach out and high five you, I could. We're still respecting each other's space. So for those, one is when you're on video, in your photos, that if you want to have that balance, you want to be 18 inches to about 3 or 4 feet away.
Okay.
That's the first one.
Social zone is 18 to 3 feet.
Yeah. And the personal zone, by the way, is still good, but that's a little bit farther away, right? So that's, you're just starting to get to know each other. When you see someone across the room or a boardroom or a networking event, they're usually about 4 to 7 feet away, which is the next zone, which is the personal zone.
Okay.
And then you have the public zone, which is obviously from far away. What we like in human behavior is we like someone to come towards us slowly. That's one of the reasons I think we're so burnt out on video. You know, we have these back-to-back video calls and we wonder, why are we so tired? I'm not even in person. The reason is because it's cueing us in ways that are not natural. In person, I walk into a room, right? Like I walked into the office today and you were waiting. I was like, hi, and then we hugged. That was that's the way humans like, right? It's like this from public.
So it's not like you open the door and I'm right there standing in your face.
That would have been a lot.
I was a few feet back.
You were a few feet back. It was perfect, right? So like that's natural. But on video, it's like, whoop, we're here. And that's why we can get so fatigued, is because the cues are unnatural, which actually leads me to the second kind of trust cue that's important.
Yes.
Is when we can't see someone's hands, our brain has a really hard time trusting someone.
It's so funny. I think ever since that interview, I'm always keeping my hands out.
Yeah.
I don't think I was keeping my hands in before, but I think I'm just more aware of it when I'm walking by someone who might be a stranger. I just have my hands out and relaxed and loose, but I'm not like tight or tense, and I'm not like hiding them or anything. It's just walking normal and say, hey, how's it going? I'll even do like a little wave, just to show.
That's super charismatic.
Say, hey, good to see you.
That's it. So I love Shark Tank. Do you know that show? Okay, I know you had
I love
guests.
it. Friday nights.
Oh,
Shark Tank.
Shark Tank. So I wanted to know, watching Shark Tank, was there patterns between the least successful pitches
Interesting.
and the most successful pitches?
This is cool.
Okay, so my team, I love my team. Thank you to my team.
Not on just based on like what people said, but how they said
everything.
Things. That's cool.
Everything. So we analyzed 495 Shark Tank pitches. Yeah.
What were the main things you saw from
Okay.
those successful and those not?
Okay, so thank you to Jose Pina for this research. 495 Shark Tank pitches, literally hundreds of hours of Shark Tank,
Yeah.
coding every variable we could think of. Entrance, first impression, verbal, eye contact, smiling, interactivity, math deal. I mean, we were looking at everything.
Holy cow.
Okay. One of the biggest differences between the least successful pitches and the most successful pitches was what you just did.
Hands.
Right. So when you walk down that Shark Tank hallway, that is beautiful, right? That's exactly what we're talking about, space, right? Public to personal to social to intimate. So it's a nice warm up. The best pitchers, when they were all the way in the public zone, signaled, hey, sharks.
No way.
And they'd walk into the room, they'd take their place on the carpet, and they'd go, good morning, sharks. Or, hey, Kevin. Mark, we'd love to have a deal with you. They would greet with some kind of hand gesture. The least successful pitchers walked in with, I think they thought they were being humble, but it actually reduced trust. They hid their hands either in fists, behind their backs, in their pockets, or holding a prop. Sometimes accidentally they hid their hands, and they didn't hand greet. That makes it really hard for someone to say, I can trust you. And that is a primitive part of our brain that when we can't see someone's hands, like if I were to, do this entire interview with my hands behind my back.
Like, what's she doing back there?
What's she doing?
Yeah.
What are her hands doing? And what's interesting is Susan Goldwyn Meadow researches gesture. She spent her entire academic career researching gesture. And she found that gestures carry more weight than words. So if a pitcher, a Shark Tank pitcher, were to go on and say, today I have a really big idea. It's
Right.
really big. And I hold my hands up like it's really big. It's really small. You're like, no way, it looks small, Vanessa. It looks so small. It's not big at all. But if I were to say I have three big ideas and hold up 5, you're actually more likely to believe my fingers. So the reason why this is important is because gestures help lower cognitive load.
Interesting.
When I use gesture, I'm more fluent. I'm able to be more competent. I'm able to underline my words. I'm able to say, this is a really important point. Can I give it to you?
Hand gestures, body gestures, facial gestures, hair gestures.
Hand gestures specifically.
Are key.
They are like our body language highlighter. That's how I want you to think about them.
What happens if we don't? What's this? I'm just kind of socially awkward. I like keeping my hands down the whole time when I'm communicating. What happens if we don't use our hand gestures at all in a conversation, in a pitch, whatever?
2 things. One is it's harder for you to process. They've literally
The
found
person
this.
speaking, it's harder
Correct.
to process.
It's going to be harder for you to get your confidence because gestures are a way that we underline or highlight our words. And so if you are inhibiting your own gestures, you will have a hard time explaining things.
Interesting.
They actually did a study where they had people explain 2 versions of a story. Notice two versions of the story. One, they could use their hands and one they couldn't. The one where they could use their hands, they had less pauses, they spoke more quickly, they used bigger words.
Wow.
And the one where they just couldn't, their hands were just underneath their legs.
You know what's interesting? I was just reading some intros for the podcast right before you came in. And I had another interview this morning and I did podcast intros and ads. And I use my hands in order to do it because I feel like it's coming across as like I'm really engaging.
Yes, yes.
And I remember when I was reading my first audiobook,
Yeah.
The School of Greatness, I tried to read it like just kind of like with my hands down for a while. And I was like, I can't read. Like,
cannot read.
I've forgotten how to read my own words. Being like dyslexic growing up
crazy.
anyways, I'm a little slower when I read in general. But when I started to be like, okay, I just need to get in this with my body, my hands, I felt more confident. I felt like I could flow. I wasn't messing up as much. I wasn't having to stop and restart as much. It was powerful.
Yes. Okay, that's an incredible story about
Yeah.
gesture because if you watch the best like cartoon voiceover folks, they are using
Animated, right?
Yes, they are using their whole bodies.
They're in a room by themselves, like recording on a mic, right? But they're
Yeah.
like, la.
yeah. We just did the same thing. Yes, yeah, that's what they're doing. That's not how I read
probably
my
are doing
audiobook.
it.
But yeah, but like Susan Goldwyn Meadows' research is called hearing gesture. And that is because I'm using my hands right now, not only for people watching, but also for my folks who are listening. Because I know that the more I use my gestures, the more charisma I have vocally, and I would love to talk about vocal charisma.
Interesting.
So that helps me, but it also helps you. So anyone who's watching, you're getting so much information. They say 12.5 times more information from our gestures.
Come on.
Yes.
Even when you can't see it?
No, you have to be able to see it. So we can hear charisma, but if someone can see our gestures, it adds more weight to what I'm saying. So when I say weight, I'm like, it's heavy. Look how heavy that is, right? But if I were to be like, heavy, it's so heavy. And I kind of shoo it away. You're like, no, it's not heavy. You can feel
the emphasis of the words.
Yes, so it's like a highlighter. Now, I have to have a caveat here because I've created a problem in the past.
Yes.
I love a gesture, but I don't like jazz hands, right? So gestures are great.
Hey, good to see you.
Hey, Louis.
So you're like, this is not credible or trustworthy. You're like, this is some weirdo over here.
I created a problem where I had people who were like entering their Zoom meetings and they were like, hello, Vanessa. And I was like, oh no.
Don't do that.
Oh no. So it's like a highlighter, right? You wouldn't want to highlight the whole page. You just want to highlight the concepts that matter.
So let's go back to hands for a second because you said there were 400 videos, I think you guys researched on Shark Tank.
495 pitches.
And one of the main factors was waving as you were walking in or as you were getting
planting.
into planting.
Yes.
Not all the way back like
Could
waving.
be. Some of them did.
But also once you sat there and said, hey,
morning.
sharks.
Yes. Hey, sharks, good morning. Happy to be here. Even this, happy to be here, like an open palm gesture.
Interesting. Okay, what are a few other things that you noticed?
Okay, yes. Okay, so we love gestures. And by the way, this is super easy on a video call, in person. Hey, nice to see you. Good morning. The biggest mistake we make, someone walks in and we go, hey, we give them a nod. Right? Give them a hand. That you like them enough to give them a hand, right? So that's really easy. It's like every YouTube video, I'm like, hey, friends. That's literally how I start every video. Okay, that's the first thing. So the second thing is where things get more interesting. So remember that these sharks were in pitch after pitch after pitch.
They're tired. They're like
so tired. They are so tired.
I've been on set there. I've seen like the whole day. It's just like, it's a lot.
It's a grind.
It's a grind.
Okay. So the most successful pitches, the next thing we found, this was very, very clear, is that the more that the pitchers could spark dopamine, the more likely they were to get a deal. Now, dopamine is a very complicated chemical. So just for our purposes.
Food, eating something. No, giving them like, oh, try my.
Oh, yes. I was like, food,
and if they're eating, like taste testing, like try, like opening something.
Try it, taste it, smell it, lick
feel
it, touch it, feel it, wear it, play it. Any of those senses, we love. So when we are doing something that's different, that's tactile. So yeah, touch, smell, taste, wear, play, do, try. That was going to wake the sharks up. Dopamine is it's a very complicated chemical, but I want to talk about it a little differently. It does feel good, right? So if they were to say to the sharks, today I have a gift for you, the brain goes, ooh, a gift.
Oh, give me
right,
something.
Gift. Right, dopamine is like that feeling of I want it. It's a excitement, but it's also motivation. So what they've found is that when people have a lot of dopamine, they are more motivated to do things. They are more motivated to figure out a deal. They are more motivated to ask questions. So when a pitcher went in and not only had some kind of interactivity, some kind of a surprise for them, and sometimes it was a surprise. And they would literally say, and guess what, sharks?
We're like,
what? Right? You're like, what is it? We want to know what that is because we're like, dopamine. So it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to walk into every meeting and hand out and like throw out Snickers bars.
Right.
Love a Snickers bar, and that will work really well. That will work. It will work every time. But it's also verbal surprise. So it's also saying, today I have something really special to share. Right?
Anticipation.
It doesn't even have to be something major. It can be throwing in those little elements of surprise that people can look forward to. And here's the biggest one. So this is research that blew my mind. It changed the way that I write emails. So if you write a lot of emails, this study is for you. So I'm going to break it down. It's kind of a complicated study. So here's what they did. So researchers had participants come into their lab and do like a little quiz, like a little math test. One group of participants read a set of directions that was very simple. Please take the following quiz, take your time, use a pencil, tell us when you're done. Very simple set of directions. The other participants got the same set of directions, but they sprinkled in a couple of achievement-oriented words. So achievement-oriented words are words like win, succeed, master, greatness. Okay, those are achievement-oriented words. There's a reason why this is so powerful. In the directions, they would say something like, please master all these questions, take as much time as you can to win the right answer, right? So they just sprinkled in a couple of these words, 2 or 3 of these words. They found that participants who had the achievement-oriented words performed better. They actually got more answers correct.
Interesting.
Now, this is incredible. If you're a manager or a boss or you're working with people and you want them to perform at their best, just a couple of word swaps can help set them up for success. The second thing they found is that it also doubled participants' desire to keep working. Now
If they could win, succeed, achieve, any of these
they
things.
were like, they worked on it longer, they worked on it harder, and they enjoyed it more. And the last one is that reading achievement-oriented words can change our own dopamine and testosterone.
That's fascinating. It's interesting because for years in high school and college, there was this store called Successions, I think it was called. I don't know if you remember this. It was like a motivational, inspirational store that had like, I don't know, a poster of like an eagle soaring with a quote, right? Or like
Sounds like my office.
Like something was just like,
Okay.
It was like Ted Lasso,
Love it.
store. It
Yes.
was just like believe in yourself with like this motivational.
Where is this store? I want it. Okay.
I think it's called Successions. I can't remember the name of it. I don't even know if it's around anymore, but my dad bought me a lot of stuff and I had all this sports type of inspirational quotes and Rocky posters and all these things of just people achieving. And I would stare in these walls and I should be like, I want to be that. Let me go take the actions every morning to work a little bit harder to reach the goals. And I was just consumed in a success, word.
You were literally priming yourself with those cues. Another study, I promise I won't do too many more. They put a picture of an athlete winning a race on top of telemarketers' scripts. The people who had the picture of the athlete winning
Come on.
earned more money.
Come on.
Yes.
Like just in front of them? You're like.
Literally a printed picture on their script.
Oh, wow.
So why I share this is because we do not realize that we are cueing people incorrectly, or we are missing opportunities in every single email that we send. So if you send an email out to your team on Monday morning, hey everyone, today is going to be a busy day. We have a lot of challenges. Let's make sure we're not late. Research has found that when people read words like busy, challenge, or late, it literally primes them to be busier and later and more challenged. You are literally making it harder for them to help you. So if instead you think about, and this is a challenge, I would love to, if you're brave enough to take it, open up your email sent folder and pull up 5 emails that you've sent to important people. Boss, partner, colleague, whatever, client. I want you to print those emails and I want you to count the number of priming words you use.
Good or bad. Yeah.
And even more, are they warm or are they competent? So this is where the next level happens.
Ooh, give it to me.
Highly charismatic people prime others with warmth and competence.
This is what I was going to say is one of the spark dopamine. A simple compliment or acknowledgement sparks dopamine from my experience. Just by seeing someone and acknowledging something you appreciate about them or you like about them or great shoes or whatever it is, I'm going to sure you've got a great smile today, you've got good energy today. That sparks dopamine, right?
Oh, 100%. Actually, this leads me to my next third point, my Shark Tank point. We also noticed that when pitchers specifically acknowledge things from the sharks, and specific sharks, they were more likely to get a deal from that shark.
I really like this thing about you. You did something
Lori,
amazing.
I've been so looking forward to working with you. Robert, I love all your deals with all those athletes. Mark, I've been a huge fan of yours for years. Or this was the winning phrase. In a pitch, if we heard this phrase, it was a high likelihood that someone was going to get a deal, which is, you remind me of myself. That could have been one of the sharks, that could have been one of the entrepreneurs, but the biggest compliment we can give someone is, you remind me of me, you're my role model. I put you in. So this is what we're talking about is kind of the next level here is I think that, yes, I want you to be your most charismatic self. I want everyone, hopefully, who's listening to be inspired to be their warmest, most competent self. But what a bigger gift, what a better way to be great, to gift other people to be their warmest and most competent self. So that when you're sending an email and you say, hey, I'm introing Sarah, or we have Sarah on the call, or here's that quick email intro I promised to Sarah, no priming words. What if instead you thought, what's the warmest and most competent thing about both Sarah and the person I'm introducing to? And you say, hey, I'd love you to meet Sarah. She's been leading our marketing team for 10 years. We are so lucky to have her. She's a gem. Lucky, gem, leader. That is the perfect balance of warmth and competence. And you are gifting that to both Sarah, the person you're introing to, and yourself. And so I think our words are gifts. And this doesn't have to be every email. But in your most important emails, that audit that you send, count how many warm words are you using. So warm words are words that trigger connection, trust, words that make you feel the warm and fuzzies. They're very oxytocin words. Count the number of competent words. Efficient, productive, brainstorm, leverage, lead, streamline. Those are all great competence words. A funny note here is emojis,
Are they good or bad?
highly warm.
Right.
Not good or
well,
bad.
Likability. You can have
High
likability,
likability.
connection.
Right,
Yeah.
high warmth, right? So emojis and exclamation points count as one warm word.
Wow.
So if you have someone, and this happens a lot, where people send a highly warm email to an important person. Hi, friend. Friend, warm word. Exclamation point, 2 warm words. I loved talking to you yesterday, 3 warm words. It was so exciting to catch up. Exciting, catch up, 5 warm words. Heart emoji, heart smiley face.
Right.
Now we're at 7 warm words and we're 1 sentence in, right?
Yeah.
They wonder why they're not taken seriously. They wonder why they didn't get a follow-up interview. They wonder why that person takes 4 days to reply. It's because it's too much warmth. You have to balance it out with the competence. So I want you to count and see what kind of signals are you sending to the people who matter to you.
That's
And
interesting.
Do you want to?
You know, you're bringing up something I used to do years ago when no one knew who I was. I was just getting started 2007, 2008. I used LinkedIn as a tool to create connection with people that were, successful business leaders and people that had done things that I wanted to do in the future, right? And for a while, none of them would reply to me because I started off saying like, hey, I'm just getting started, I'm brand new, and I'm looking for some advice. Can you help me? Those types of
warm,
languages,
warm.
right? Yeah.
All those words you just said are all warm.
Yeah, and I started switching it and getting a reply almost every time from anyone. Like anyone I'd reach out to, I was like, they're gonna reply to this. And I started doing a few things. In the first sentence, I would just try to find, spark dopamine essentially is what I was doing. I was looking for a mutual connection we had, and I'd speak about the mutual connection.
Mutual connection is highly competent. It's saying, you know this person, I know them too, I'm in the know. Trust and
there's
warmth.
Trust, yeah.
Warmth and competence.
This person likes me, if you like them, yeah, trust.
Perfect balance, yeah.
I didn't even know that, and I was just doing it, right? And it was working. I was like, okay, let me keep doing this. Let me find someone that we know in common.
Yeah.
And I would always try to have a conversation to get some intel on them. Can
sure.
you tell me something about so-and-so? And I would speak about that information. And I would speak into them. I would also look for a couple other areas of interest that we have in common. And I would try to have 3 different things in common in the first sentence or 2.
Wow.
Something that they did that I'd experienced before, or a place they're from, or whatever, some mutual interest.
Warmth and competence.
Maybe that's competence, or it's both.
Both.
You're saying, yeah.
It's beautifully both. Yeah.
So I would do that, and then I would just add, and then I would say something like, "I'm really inspired by what you created. I'd love to learn your story of success."
Wait. Say it again.
I'm really inspired by what you've created. I'd love to learn your story of success.
Oh man, that just gave me the chills.
That's essentially what I did almost every email.
That sentence, can we just talk about it? So
Sure.
that sentence is the perfect blend of warmth and competence.
There you go.
Right? You have love, you have learn, you have success. And so that didn't take a lot of words. It's not like you were writing them a 6-paragraph email. But it's so much better than, let me know if you have any questions.
Right.
The neuroscience shows us the person is picking it up and responding. And so your body language, your tone of voice, the greatest negotiators in the world really maximize that because it's an invisible skill.